What is up, everybody? It is me, Psycho Blue, conductor of the Hype Train, Mr. Hype Gems, hashtag Crosswires, hashtag Street Fighter Cross Tekken, or more accurately, Street Chatter Cross Talkin. We're doing things a little bit differently this evening. What we'll be doing is, so as you guys know, I'm a licensed behavior analyst. I've seen a lot of stuff on the FGC lately, and a lot of negativity I see, so I thought what I'd do today is do what I can to give back to the community. The FGC has been so nice to me, and see if together, along with another veteran FGC, we can talk about how we can stay positive in the midst of all negativity going around us. So without further ado, I bring aboard my guest. I'll be bringing up right now the former Corn Alucard. From understanding, he has his own stuff going on. Look forward to hearing about it. And we talk about how we can help you guys get where you need to be mentally. Let's get started. While I'll do that, we'll have some cross-Tekken replays for the 360 going up. I dug deep the archives for this, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Hello?
Hello, how you doing today, Mr. Alucard?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Everyone, please welcome my guest, Mr. Alucard. Understand, Alucard, tell us a bit about what you've been up to. A bit about yourself, who you are, what you're doing right now, where you came from, stuff like that. And I'll give my end, then we'll talk about the mental health piece I showed before we got this thing up.
Okay, cool. Well, my name is Antoine Ortiz. I go by Alucard. Currently, I guess not sponsored by anyone. So right now I'm just playing video games on my own volition, no traveling.
That is not a... Go on.
Still playing, at my local scene and stuff. I started playing video games professionally maybe about 10 years ago. Started with Third Strike, so I've been around for a little bit.
I've always been impressed with what you've brought to the table over the years. Ever since I think I met you first time, I think it was Final Round 2013. I was doing the bear dance when Seth LL was making that stuff happen on stream. That was a big moment for me. Let me explain about myself. So, as you guys know, watching Psycho Blue, so for me, I started going to tournaments because I'd always been aware of it when I was in high school and stuff. Because back then, I've always been a big fighting game fan. My earliest memory was probably the Pro Park Midlothian. It's kind of like a golf land that Rick Ortiz played almost in Richmond instead of the West Coast. It was called the Pro Park Indoor Golf Course. The same general idea. It had Street Fighter 2, I was on a field trip, and from there I just kind of started seeing a lot more, at Lowe's and stuff like that, and it just kind of followed me along across life. I didn't start really going to, tournaments active until, I was in college. My parents kind of micromanaged me really hard, so you gotta do marching band and stuff like that, but, yeah, so I'd say 2005 is when I started going to tournaments. I was mostly a con hustler for most of my undergrad, and then once I started getting some salary going, I started going to more tournaments active. I went to one in Cincinnati called Old School Oz, I think 2011, and I got third my first tournament. That was anime con. So it was pretty. There was I think it was 34 people that tournament. For me to get third my first try was pretty exciting. So from there I kind of kept at it, and Cross Tekken came in my life not that long after that, and yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible journey with me in that game. Even though obviously it's not the hot ticket once was, and I'm using that term very lightly given its all the maladaptive stuff going on over its history. But yeah. So I first met you, I think, in Fire Round 2013 when I started to make it my focus because that's the topic I want to talk about today. Using the lessons we've learned in the FGC to help keep our mentalities good when it comes to the real world. I picked up Cross Tekken because I really have anything better to do in my real life. I was a special ed teacher in the middle of nowhere. By middle of nowhere, I mean the closest Walmart was 30 miles away and the closest movie theater 50 miles away. And let's see, I got a gun pulled on me. My ex-supervisor was a complete see you next Tuesday. And to a point where I just got mad just being around her. And there's nothing better to do. I mean, like, again, middle of nowhere, not many young people you want to talk to, you know? So I just wound up focusing on Cross Tekken. Tag 2 wasn't doing it for me like I thought it would. Because I came from Tekken DR as my first real competitive game, and unfortunately didn't scratch that itch like I'd liked. So I'm back to Cross Tekken when 2013 came out. And from there, it's kind of been my focus, or just a way to detox across the past few years. And now I'm almost a director. It's pretty exciting.
Wow.
But yeah, like, so you said you started with Third Strike. But I imagine, were you playing fighting games just like before then? Like, what was your haunt? Like, what was the scene like? 'Cause I remember, listening to a bunch of On Blast shows talking about, I think it was called Wizards.
Yeah.
Was that where you were?
I mean, I went there very seldom. You know, I didn't know about arcade scene that we had here in Michigan, so I was still a casual player
Yeah.
by the time, you know, when Wizards was still up and when I actually started taking gaming seriously, Wizards had already. But I had still made friends with most of the good guys that were there. So, you know, I'm with those guys. You know, they're really, I got into profession, trying to take it serious. You know, they taught me, you know, how to be a pro, how to be, you know, good, skilled. Before them, you know, I just pretty much played all off field. You know, I didn't know the frame data, or, you know, I didn't know combos and links and stuff like that. I just knew what worked. You know, certain things did actually combo, but, you know, I didn't have that grasp on the whole concept of like, oh, if this is +6, you know, you can link it with, you know, 6 frame attack, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I met those guys and, they, you know, they took my game to the next level, and then I started traveling, going to the season.
Yeah, like, I remember I was seeing, I was looking at someone's tweet earlier about a Street Fighter 2 frame dam thing. Myself, it didn't exist back then. I mean, even, like, it was such an experimental genre back in, like, that era. Like, even today, like, frame data is still kind of like a relatively recent thing. Like, for me, the earliest frame data was, like, a hard study thing. I'd say it would be in Tekken, because Namco actually published it.
Yeah.
And, like, back then it was big, like, probably up until, like, I would say Capcom Fighting Evolution, like, its absolute earliest. Before then, it was just, like, this move's good and this move sucks. That was our frame data. And,
yeah. Like, don't do that move.
Yeah. And in many ways, like, something... Alright, so yeah, like, as you know, like, you were there, EVO 2017, you saw me in line with Harada. I was telling you, hey, mission accomplished. I don't know if you remember that. You were, like, passing by, and I was, like, in line to meet Harada at EVO 2017. And I was telling you, mission accomplished. I beat Esta, finally got EVO off my back. I'm finally on top, and blah, blah, blah. When that happened, like, I realized where I started. I mean, keep in mind, again, I was miserable when I first picked up Cross Tekken. I didn't pick it because of it. I picked it because I had nothing. I wanted to focus on something, anything, to get my mind off, like, the nonsense going on in my life. And I thought about where I'd come from before then. And it was really humbling. And after that, just, like, my whole life shifted. Like, I got a new job. I'm almost a director pretty soon. I've made a big community. I've proved pretty much all my critics, like, in my career, like, dead wrong at this point. It means a lot to me. And I just want to ask you, like, because I saw on your Facebook, you said self-employed, and are you working with, what's your other business ventures right now, apart from fighting games, if it's not fighting games?
Right, no, that's pretty much my job right now. I'm just training people, have little classes set up where come through and talk and get on a chat and get into battle lounges, and I just teach them how to play Street Fighter. Other than that, just, you know, just still trying to get back sponsored, you know, fighting. But
well, if you need a reference letter, just let me know. I can probably spin a mental health professional look on it and, like, somehow tie it into what you do. I mean, I did get that
Right.
Red Bull article, and there's an article about Shibuya Games about me coming up pretty soon, so there will be that for credentials. If they want like a reference letter and stuff like that. So just let me know. I don't know how it works,
Okay.
like full sponsorships or whatever.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, because I haven't been with my previous sponsor for a while now, so
Are they still
just been
around?
hanging out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I
I
haven't heard anything about F3 in a long time.
I haven't been keeping up with too much, so
Like,
um,
yeah, go on.
just been doing my own thing, just hanging out with family because I've been in New York for 3 years, so now that I'm home, it's just hanging out with fam. Got a bunch of nieces.
It's not the worst idea. So, yeah. So, like I told you, the reason I want to talk to you is just like, because your team plays Street Fighter, and you, of all people, know Street Fighter is not just about the frame data or the combos. There's like a deeper, unspoken lesson in Street Fighter, even Street Fighter 5. There's
Right.
like an unspoken lesson about like that goes beyond the frame data, beyond the spacing, beyond that stuff. It's a composure thing, and what I always tell my clients, that's the name for my patients pretty much. When I work with my clientele as a behavior analyst, they're called clients. What I always teach them is the lessons I learn in fighting games, whether it be Cross Tekken, Street Fighter 4, Third Strike, Tekken DR, whatever I was playing at the time. I'm also really good at Soul Calibur 2, I'm told. I took KDZ to the limit at the Commonwealth a few years ago, which was pretty fun. He didn't seem very impressed. He didn't like how much fun as I was. But anyway, the lessons I taught myself, like just about the hard work, dedication, and when you realize when it clicks, is something that I feel extends outside of fighting games. And I watched a lot of the stuff go on Twitter the other day about people worrying if Fighter Z was going to keep getting hosted or not, because a lot of people were depending on their dime for that game. I don't blame them. That's a big money, and from what I heard about the Tekken community, the drop's pretty steep between that Street Fighter and everything after that.
Yeah.
So I understand the concern, and but it did kind of hurt me to see all these great players, all these very talented young men and women, just fall in this panic like they didn't realize everything they've done they can translate to other ventures outside of just gaming, like not so much like the frame data and stuff for like numbers bunching, but it's like the mentality of how to stay positive and figure out the next step,
Right.
And I know because you've been around the block a lot, you've seen a lot of shifts in mentality. Some guys are like eternally positive. Some guys kind of I don't know, seem a bit unfriendly at times. So you've seen the different shifts of the mentalities over the years. You've been around a long time. You see them from the Third Strike days. See, I still remember everyone hating on Street Fighter 4 because they said jumps were too slow.
Right.
And I remember saying links are too scrubby or whatever. And now we have games where like, I think, alright, so Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, and Soul Calibur 6, I think are the only like current games where auto combos aren't in, like, as a matter of just like it's there, deal with it, And I've realized just how much it's less about execution, more just about like the mental battle, like in all those games. And
I mean, a battle is it's definitely mental when you're fighting someone. I often tell a lot of my students that don't always play the character, play the player. When you sit down when someone and they have experience, they know how to play you and not just what character you're. Because you can know the Ryu matchup, you can know the Ken matchup, or you can know the Akuma. Do you know the Daigo match? You know the Tokido matchup. It's different. Because like you said, it's not just all numbers and frame data. Really, a mental battle, a certain mentality that top players carry with their character. So you not only do you have to know the character matchup, but you have to know the player matchup just as well to beat someone. Because it's a mental battle. Some players, especially old school players, they often have I want to say tactics to where they can literally get in your head. Certain players like to have fake buttons that they press, or They like to act like they're doing emotion, but they're not doing it. They just do stuff that's considered unconventional, but because they know you as a player, they know that it'll work on you, that fall for these said. It's still very important even to this day. All the new games as well as the old to actually have a strong mental fortitude to just be like, no, this guy's not gonna get in my head today. I'm not gonna let him mentally break me, because once you mentally break, you can see it in your play. And the commentators often touch on when they're commentating high level. They can tell like, oh, he's giving up, oh, he's broken, because it's very hard. It's very strenuous to keep a sound mind and to keep a positive attitude when someone is, per se annoying during a battle.
So, I remember, I don't think you were at Summer Jam this year.
Not this year.
So, that was an interesting day. You talk about, like, knowing if someone's off or if they're frustrated and stuff. So, I was supposed to only stream and commentate Cross Tekken because Big E was hosting Cross Tekken that weekend because it won the fan vote. And so my day was off to an interesting start that morning. I woke up early, couldn't find my wallet. My breakfast didn't go down so nice because my stomach got tied by nuts trying to find my wallet. I found it, got on my train, spent most of my train in the bathroom trying to get my nerves back under control. So I get there. The subs don't have DLC, and you can't update because of hotel internet, so we had to find setups now. And we got to everything started an hour late, and then I learned that I was playing after all, because I thought it was capped, but I guess my name get taken off when it went over cap. So I wound up playing just because, why not? So I'm not just doing nothing all weekend. And so I won, but I felt so empty, because I was playing so far below my standard, hungry, tired, sick, all these things, and doing 800 things at once, that I won, but I remember going back on my stream and feeling like I had just went 0-16, even though the exact opposite happened. Like, I've looked at the bracket, and it's, yeah, like, if anything, it told me I have an endurance value that I didn't have when I first started. But like you said, mentally when you're off and it shows in your play. Like, I think for me, the best I've ever played, ever, was a 1st to 10 versus Punko that didn't get recorded because kind of spur of the moment at EVO 2017. This was when I was in the lobby before the doors opened. I don't know if you saw me or not. But, once you know what you're capable of, and you feel like you're playing below standard, it eats at you mentally. And then you start playing worse because like, you're playing off, and they're taking advantage, just like a double nightmare scenario. Because this guy's too good for you to be playing that bad, and it just eats at you double time, and then you start dropping your combos, or you start jumping in out of turn, and then that's triple bad, and it's... I see a lot of players just, like, collapse upon themselves when I watch them, like, towards the finish line. I have guys locally who have tags in their names now, one of which I've known for many years now. Actually was a band camp tutor when he was still in high school, and that's how I remember him pretty well. He's doing really well. He, for the sake of country, I won't mention his name, but I did watch this guy almost beat Bass in Alpha 2 a couple months ago. So I know what he's capable of when he's clicking. He's really, really good when he's clicking. But a lot of times, like I said, I see him just kind of mentally fight himself in a way that kind of counterproductive for that high-level play. And my point is, like I said, you see it, and it's player versus player, but I think the lessons of when you finally adapt in a way where that happens less and less, where you can make those good decisions, not be intimidated by the other guy, and you're not playing his game, you're still playing your game, or at least playing a game where if you do make a mistake, it's not entirely fatal. You can apply those lessons in real life, like, For me, I think when things really shifted was when I was working. Like my first job when I first went across Tekken was going horribly. So my second job was at an alt ed school for like juvie offenders, like the really the really serious behaviors that can't be managed in regular school, like the really bad kids, pretty much. It was a job a lot of people didn't really like to be at, but for me, it was like beats my last one. So at least there's like a movie theater around here within 2 miles, so I can detox when I need to, other than just playing cross Tekken all day. But it was right after that tournaments didn't tilt me anymore, or at least not much they used to, because I realized like the real life struggle that I had to adapt to work with these young men and women who needed my help, even if they didn't immediately want the time. I mean, I'm a teacher. I'm going to do the best job I can, regardless of their background or what they do to me, because I have a job to do. From there, like, all my tournament nerves kind of disappearing after a while, because it was like, tournament nerves are nothing compared to that. But, it's very common that you see guys, like, after, like, a few years of, like, hitting a wall, eventually a lot of them eventually break out. Like, or a new game comes out, they're starting to go fresh, and all their trials from last time are working with them in this new game. My point is, to anyone watching this afterwards, is as a mental health professional, I find that the more trials you endure, the more you can use to build your self-confidence. Because eventually those trials that become routine, you have yourself a sales pitch you didn't have before. Because many other people would have tapped out, but the lessons we've learned in the tournaments to overcome these obstacles over time translate to the real world. And I was wondering if you've ever seen that in your expertise, like people using the lessons they learned in fighting games to kind of extend success in their other lives.
I mean, it can help anyone, but personally, it has definitely helped me.
Care to elaborate?
Yeah, I mean, being a top player, you're gonna always play, top players or better players as you progress. So, knowing in your mind that you are capable of, fighting some of the best players in the world who have, better infrastructures or better competition or anything, just facing the best people in the world at something. That is definitely a confidence booster well, it definitely has been a confidence booster for me in my life, because it's like, man, like, I don't necessarily come from the best place, in America. It's a a hard place to call it. Detroit isn't a good place to be. The place to be, place to grow up. It's very rough. It's very hard. So kind of build that into your personality, just you against the world type of thing. So when you're playing guys from better infrastructures, from just a whole better different type of living, you can see that they have all these skills and all talent to hone, just make them so much more formidable. You're able to like beat these guys or hang with these or take these guys to the last round, last hit. It really boosts your confidence. It's just like, I really can do this. Like I'm really somebody, or I'm really something. It helps. It helps a lot, because oftentimes life is cruel, man. Life knocks you, and you're like, what do I do? But for people like me, video games was my helper. It was a place get away and go and just be good and be somebody important. Even if I've been having struggles in my actual life, I can always fall back on games, talent. Still good at that. I got this thing. Even if it's could be your only thing that you're good at, but at least you're good or great at it. So it has helped me, in that area, help deal with certain instances in my life where I'm just like, what, I can do this. This isn't anything I'm not used to. I'm used to this pressure. I'm used to this, this high level situation, and I'm gonna get through it, just like.
So, like I told you, I worked at the All Dead School, and a lot of them came from backgrounds, from what it sounds like, very similar to yours. Not the best neighborhoods. Many of them came from the south side of Richmond, which is basically our not so nice neighborhoods.
Right.
I think at one point it actually was murder capital of the world over Chicago, I think, for 1 year. Like, that's how bad it was at the time. It still sucks now, but it's just the rest of the world got crappier. So it's not that we got better. And also, and that's why I work Medicaid, because I feel like I'm making a real difference going into those neighborhoods, helping these young men and women, whether they have autism or ADHD, or they're having all these other emotional difficulties that the other levels of treatment can't deal with, because I'm the highest level before, like, inpatient stuff like that. So it means a lot to me when I go to these neighborhoods, and I feel like I make a big difference. And that's why I liked working the All Dead School. I mean, yeah, there were some difficulties, but a lot of them were pretty much the admin's fault more than the actual kids. Because everyone has a struggle they have to deal with in life, whether it be financial or legal, or they're feeling ostracized due to race or their religion or things like that. Or they feel like they're being abused by family members they can't tell anybody, or abused by friends, or things like that. We all have a struggle we deal with, obviously. It just takes different forms. Doesn't make it any less valid than the others most of the time. But from what I've seen from the FGC, that's one thing I do like FGC. Especially now, I see a lot of people from these different backgrounds joining hands for a common goal, which is to obviously get good. And so many of them, I find, have the capabilities to have the success in the real world, whether it be doing just gaming or use their gaming experiences to extend to the next part of their lives. And I think that's the message I want to give today. That's why I have you on, because I know you have mentioned some things about your background in the past, I think, on social media. Because, like I said, you came from like a background that you said is not the best. But you use this to show yourself it's not so bad, because you're facing the best in the world many times over, and you beat many of the best in the world in several instances. And that's a huge motivator. And I think the first way out of any hole you find yourself in is to start climbing, and having self-esteem like that helps you climb faster, more effectively.
Definitely.
And that's my thing, because something else, because I keep eyes on social media. You heard me talk a bit about what happened in Jacksonville when that happened. What was my take on it? I have kept eyes. I do see a lot of bad vibrations on social media from people you wouldn't expect in the FGC. I'm going to obviously maintain confidentiality, but it's more common. Than some people might think, because this is very much a social circle, and for some people, it's their only social circle, because the real world's not really jiving with them at the moment. So I want to give that message, saying it doesn't have to be all the good feelings you feel from that circle, from you playing these players, from hanging with these players complimenting you, or you defeating these players, and you feeling good that you've managed to put a chip on your gun, so to speak, that you're doing this well. You can use that to help take steps to live a healthier mental lifestyle. Like, so I showed Alucard a PowerPoint before we got started for something called solution-focused mentality. Solution-focused mentality, pull up really, really fast while you guys are watching these random cross Tekken matches, and I'll have Alucard give his comment just a second. Just a moment. I'm going to pull up in your the notes I sent you. Hold on.
Okay.
There we are. So, for me, in order to live a lifestyle where you can overcome any challenge, or if any challenge comes your way, you are not fazed by it, at least not for more than a few seconds. So, for me, it's the APA. And I'm not talking about Bradshaw and Farouk. So, APA is accountability, positivity, and adaptability. So, what is the hardest lesson you feel, Alucard, of Get Good?
Listen. Um, you mean
Like,
getting good?
like when you first started playing, like to get to the level you're at right now, let's say third strike, you probably took a lot of L's at first.
Definitely.
So, what do you think?
Um,
What moment could you say was when you started feeling the real difference and you realized where things were going wrong that are now going right?
I want to say when I would get frustrated. It's like when I would lose to people. You often try to blame everyone else but yourself. Once you realize, that you really need to just buckle down, put some focus into the game, actually get good. Once you realize that, then you can start elevating. That's when I was starting to see, because once I was determined to beat these people instead of feeling like I should already be, you know, it just was a mindset thing. Once I got it through my head, like, hey, bro, these guys aren't just gonna lay down. I got it in my mind, like I have to take victory, earn
So,
it.
so that
Yeah,
sounds to me like the first letter of APA, accountability.
you gotta go. You gotta dig deep. Though. You can't blame anyone for your mistakes. It's not a team game, not team sport or anything like that. It's 1v1. So you have to take account of yourself, prepare yourself for all of these situations so that you can overcome. Be upset that this person is doing this, and be upset that you're not aware of the stuff that a lot of people like to say, oh, that's a gimmick, oh, that's scrubby. No, it's a part of the game. You need to take accountability, learn what's happening, find ways around. Once I realized that, third strike, many games to come after that, that's when I start to see, you know elevation.
That,
That
like I said, that's the first letter of solution focused mentality, accountability. Um,
and that's
eventually,
real.
so for me, the shift happened. I think, like the big shift, like when I went from just doing decently at locals and some regional tournaments to beating guys like Esta and Punko, and knowing who Esta has beaten in recent years, Daigo, Takedo, I've seen him light up people like at both his Osaka things. He goes the Cyclops tournaments and online. For me to hang with a player like that, and for him to tell me, like he told, so he asked me at Evo last one, can I take a picture? I just took him out for breakfast at Denny's with a couple of Japanese players playing Cross Tekken, and I said sure. So he took a picture, and I looked at it, and it was in Japanese. So I asked my Japanese speaking friend, hey, what does this say? Because Google Translate kind of wasn't making any sense. And he told me that he said I was like iron. So for a guy like that say that about me, for me that shifted, I think, when I realized, when I was trying to take my licensure exam for what I have now, the ABA stuff, and I wasn't passing it first, and I was blaming other things that had nothing to do with me passing or failing.
Yep.
I realized I'm not doing the work I need to do, and I'm just making excuses, and that's not who I am. It doesn't get anything done, and if I want to get to where I need to be in life, I need to look deep and like I said, tell myself, you are the problem, now fix it. And I did, passed it, aces 3 months later. And after that, tournaments, again, the same mentality, playing games, whether it be Cross or Street Fighter V when I'm have time to focus on that, or lately I'm playing Marvel Infinite a bit more. I'm doing Soul Calibur again. Doing NBA Playgrounds 2K. I'm helping the devs with their online tournament scene because they know I'm a big fan of those kind of games, the 2-on-2 stuff. And every time I pick up a game now, I look at it. If I'm not winning, I'm saying, it's my fault. Let's see if we can fix it. I watch matches over. I study other people playing my characters. I study people playing their characters and try to find the ways out where I'm getting stuck at, or watch my matches over, which is very painful, by the way, because I'm a huge critic of myself. And seeing what I'm doing and not doing, and then eventually just like, it clicks. And now when I enter a tournament that I've been practicing for, I know what I'm doing and not doing to get to where I should be and where I could be. And that's accountability, just like you said. It's a hard lesson, but I think if everyone could have a little bit of that and not blame things outside their control, everyone would be doing a lot better in anything that they set their minds to. Because it's like a revelation.
It's really powerful in itself to know that you focus on things that you actually can. That there's knowledge out there. There's, people that are willing to help you. People that have already been through what you, and are willing to show you ways around. That's really, a lot of people didn't have that when we're starting to play. So it's very new. The age, everyone has access to so much information about it's just so much information everywhere. Just go and back then you had to have a mentor. You had to have someone. It wasn't a place to just go read up on to just figure out how to play your character, figure out what your character strengths are. You really had to play or someone. So now we're having.
So
yeah.
Before I move to the next one, positive, I'll focus on accountability one last time. What's really powerful about accountability once you have that revelation is you'll be able to independently increase your own self-esteem for other things, even if you're in in this case, a competitive hostile situation. Most people locally, like Richmond area, know this. I don't say it as much openly, but I'll say it. My old tournament organizer hates my guts. And by hate my guts, I mean he will badmouth me. Keep in mind, he's blocked me on social media years ago. He will badmouth me years after he's blocked me, talking crap about me, and someone has to, tag me, hey, have you talked to this guy recently? I said, no, why? And then they show me a screenshot of him talking trash about me. And now, he's a TO, and he actually organized some of the old EVO qualifiers back when that was still a thing. And he's told me I'm the reason Cross Tekken died on the East Coast, because I'm so annoying and blah, 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 and things like that. I get that, not so much the killing Cross Tekken bit, but I do get kind of the hostility a lot, just by nature of who I am and the zone I'm in when I play. I'm not trying to intentionally make people mad, but I just seem to have that. The play style and the way I get into the zone when I play maybe kind of rubs people the wrong way. But, at this point, so many years later, keep in mind, he blocked me 3 years ago, and he's still talking trash about me as early as a month ago, when someone brings my attention about, Cross Tekken. Justin Wong had a video not too long ago saying what his 5 favorite games. We had Cross Tekken among it. And, one of my friends said, Cross Tekken, see, it's good. And then, about a couple hours later, someone screamed... No, because you're not... The way Facebook works, if you post on someone... Actually, forget. Anyway, I could see his post. He was talking trash about me, and I had to call him out, and then he, talked more trash about me in my face. It was funny, I think, at this point, being it's so many years later. But it would have bothered me years ago, but I'm just so used to it at this point. Mm-hmm. And I have nothing really to prove at this point when it comes to that. I mean, I am who I am, and I've done a lot of great things, and the community and the game has been very kind to me. What's given to me, at this point, it's just whatever. So I won't be as vulnerable to bullying, I guess, as I once was, Because I've accepted They're not responsible for how you do. And in that regard, let's go to the next point, positivity. Because like you said, gaming has given you a lot, not just in terms of tournament results and prestige, but just the self-esteem bit of you beating all these great players. And you can use those lessons to motivate you to take the next step in your life of what your next ambition is going to be.
Because no one likes a negative Nancy. No one likes always complaining. You see a lot of these pro players all over social media.
Sorry, but the reason why I'm laughing, I saw it this morning from someone I know. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, no one likes that, man. Like people. It's a video game, first of all, so people don't like to see that often, bro. Like, it's not that serious. Like, there's so much more to this game than all the negative crap put out about it. It's toxic. You gotta stay positive. Like, when you're trying to excel at something, you have to stay positive. You got to keep your mind open, pretty much available for new things to learn. Everything. New games come out and they're not the same as the previous iteration. So it's you have to take on that learning curve. Sometimes people, they don't do well at that. They like to down the game. Oh, because Street Fighter 4, I was so much better, and you could do this, and 5, you have to. It's just negative. You're not gonna get better. So I like the P. I like the positivity that you're putting on.
So, like I said, you've seen me around tournaments like for a few years now, so I don't think you've ever seen me in like a complete sour mood ever.
No, never. Since I've been.
Because again, like for me, because video games are reinforcing, and for me, yeah, winning would be great. I haven't really won much recently. I mean, but at the same time, I know why. I mean, life happened, and everyone else is just working that much harder and that much smarter to play catch up. But for me, I just like being around video games, and because of the lessons I've learned from accountability, now I can better appreciate the games that are here, and not blame the games for issues. And I think the only reason I've been unhappy in a tournament might have been the Summer Jam one. But to be fair, there are a million other things going on, like hunger and sickness and lack of preparation, all the other things that are kind of interfering. But I knew why. I did it to myself. If I had put my wallet where it belonged the first place when I woke up, all of that would have been avoided. And then it turned out I was on my couch the whole time. It was just dark because I woke up early to catch the train. So then I felt really stupid. But yeah. And but I feel like that's the reason why I'm bringing you on, because I feel like that positivity might be dying a bit lately. Just in general, like not just social media. I mean, I've had someone tried to fight me at Summer Jam over free to enter tournament because he got upset by beating with Jack. Because he said Jack was bottom tier, and I said no, Jack is not bottom tier in that game. Jack is proto Abigail with geysers. That's not fun.
Yeah.
And I did and I probably came a bit too hard. I'll take accountability. Like I said, I was hungry, sick, tired. I probably didn't have any patience to for his ego and stuff, and him downplaying what I had done with the game, not just as a player but as a commentator and organizer. Because the Cross Tekken is a crucial part of my life at this point. Yeah, I don't play it as much. Not because I don't like it, because like it's there when I need it. I play it about once a week, either in the lab or with people, just to help mentally reset myself. Like for me, it's as important as gym, and I go to the gym 5 times a week. And it's for him to disrespect me. I guess I didn't curse him out. I just say don't disrespect me, and then he wanted to have an attitude. He threatened me, say don't even touch me. And I kind of yacked back a bit, and I had to text his girlfriend over it because I happened to have her number through a different. It was just by coincidence. I didn't know that was the boyfriend at the time until a different thing happened. Anyway, so that happened, but it wasn't not so much to me, but I do see a lot of unpleasantness, just like a lot of, again, bad vibrations or people being unfriendly or cranky when it wasn't there. I think even like a year ago, I feel like things were a lot more mellow, I guess. Which is why. Oh, go on.
It may be because of all the money involved. You know, like people are really starting to try to make a living from video games past 3 years. So be the cause of this bloody seriousness. Like everyone really getting into it like, for real now. Living off of it.
And you've heard me say this, especially like I saw the numbers, like the money like Tekken World Tour got total compared to what Capcom Cup got. Like, I love Tekken, I love Street Fighter. I'm not going to compare them that way, but given the global appeal of Tekken and all the other stuff, I would have thought it would pay out much more because it looked like it had a bigger budget than Capcom Cup did, other than them getting Delta Homo Sapien on a really bad day. So I can understand why that might be tense. And I just hope that with all these new moves we made in esports, like with that Poker League getting that esports group, that we can finally see these guys get paid what they're owed to be sustainable, at least to live a satisfying life. So, but yeah, the first step to do that is to make yourself marketable. And as you said, no one likes negative Nancy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm hyper. I'll admit I'm hyper. I was the loudest guy at the Suns-Wizards game last week. But, like I said, but that positivity and the mindset that I bring just by nature of being around video games has obviously gotten me opportunities I would have gotten if I was all grumbly like I had when I first started. So positivity is a very important part, and like you said earlier, you can use your endeavors and your successes to fuel your opportunities and your ambition in other avenues in life. Like after I did the Evo thing in 2017, I mean, my confidence was soaring, and I used that to present myself in a way where I could get a new job because the last job was kind of going down the toilet. And now I have more opportunities. My name is more relevant in different circles that wasn't in a way before here. And from there, again, I'm almost director if I keep focused. And I don't think I would have had the confidence. Actually, I would have, but that was definitely a big booster of helping showing myself what I'm capable of. I put my mind to it. So I want people. So I would like anyone watching this to realize that you can use your endeavors in these games, or even just the slightest successes and the slightest signs of progress, to show that you can do it. You can get to where you need to be in life. Just use the work ethic from the games and apply them to the next step, whether it be the games again or something else you're doing in the world.
100.
And it's about 7:50, and I had you tagged for an hour, so I'll get to the next point. So, what do you think? Who would you say is the strongest opponent you faced? Like, let's say Street Fighter 4. Who would you say is the strongest and why? Like, you personally, like everyone has their own demon. Who is your demon? Let's say Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4.
Who is your demon?
My demon in Street Fighter 4 is 100%.
How about player? Was that his name?
Yes, Wolfram. He's from Michigan.
Oh, Wolfcrone. Oh, that's at 100%. Yeah.
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 100% was Wolfcrone. I mean,
I didn't hear Wolfcrone, sir. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he would have to be my demon, like through and through, because we played so many times. He always got the better. It was a full battle, a character battle.
What would you? Oh, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't start beating him until like much later. He had began to stopped coming around. Picked up Sagat, Hugo. Only then had I getting the better, but it was much later on.
So that would be the next point, the adaptivity part, or adaptability. So like I said, so eventually there's only so many situations in life, the exact same situation before it stops tilting you. And I keep telling people this when about, again, I work in a high stress field. It's mental health. These are all the kids and adults and the young men and women, whether it be little kids, big kids, teenagers, adults, that the rest of the world doesn't want to deal with because they're the scary other. Especially in the Medicaid world, that's typically not so nice. But I remember when I was working at the alt-ed school. It's called the Villa. It's in Richmond. I saw teachers quit after 2 days. And to me, that made me ultra mad. Because unfair to everybody. Unfair to the kids, unfair to the staff. And it just makes you look like pardon my French, a pussy. Because this is what I look at it. Anything you can walk away from, anything where nobody got hurt, like, permanently, and you still have a job and a roof over your head, you're still good.
Right.
And the next time it happens, you'll be prepared. Everyone takes L's, whether it be in games or in life. But as long as you're still in it, there's always a chance to turn around to figure out the next step. With, like, obviously very specific exceptions that are not applicable at all to video games. Hopefully. I mean, with Saudi Arabia getting involved, you never know, right? Because apparently Saudi was looking at esports and stuff. But anyway, that was a little bit of political humor. But what I mean is, what was going on with this teacher who quit the second day or disregard these kids as, like, hopeless and stuff, and that made me mad too. I saw a teacher who did that, and I got so mad at them. That's actually how the first job in the middle of nowhere got really sour, because she said that about a kid, and I told her that's not appropriate, and then we just started arguing back and forth. But the adaptive piece is any crisis you're encountered with, if the next time it happens, you'll be prepared. And it's just the same way with fighting games. Like, there's only so many things Crone could have done to, like, blown you up or opened you up until eventually you stopped working.
Definitely. I mean, because he was, as good as he was, you have to push that to the side, adapt, like you say, because it's only so much he can do. It's only so much your characters can do. Like, it has to be a way around it. Invincible, 100% guaranteed situation where it's just like check, So yeah, it took time, and we went back and forth over the years, but that to me, wasn't. Well, I didn't accept it. To always to never be like sure that I'm gonna win. I didn't like that. I didn't like not knowing if I could. But once new characters came out, new technology came out, I was much more confident.
So, like, I've met Crone a few times. I remember last Combo Breaker, so before anyone thinks I'm about to, like, say anything crass about him, because I know he kind of has that effect on people, I saw him at Combo Breaker last year, and the last time I had talked to him, I think he blocked me because he was upset that I said, "Why are you bad-mouthing Cool Kid?" Because, good he is from Cross Tech and something like that, and apparently I got blocked. Anyway, so he actually tracked me down at Combo Breaker to apologize, and we made up right after that, and like I said, because of that, I will never say anything bad about, like, Wolf unless he wrongs me again in the future. Right now, though, for him to do that, for him to seek me and not the other way around, I was really impressed with that. So,
yeah.
Shoutouts to Crone. I do appreciate I appreciate the work you do in your games. I hope you still buy people in Soul Calibur 6, because if you got the name Wolf Crone, you better be playing Soul Calibur as well. But that being said, Crone is a very interesting case. Like, I've seen Crone obviously have his down spells, where he's not doing as well as you'd think he would, given past experiences where he does do well, and he's just, like, #1 ranked in the world in, like, Street Fighter V, or I think he was #1 ranked back in, like, the Lara Season 2 days. I think he was #1 ranked, something like that, in Street Fighter V. Now, considering the competition Street Fighter V, that's actually pretty gosh darn impressive.
Oh, yeah.
And Soul Calibur 6, I think the first week or so, he was #1 on the rank boards as well. I haven't played Soul Calibur 6 in a couple weeks. I've been just busy with life and stuff and managing the X-Wires thing you've probably seen me post on Facebook every so often. But that's no small feat either, because that game also has a lot of high-level stuff. And
Definitely.
like, rather, no, in any game there's high-level stuff. No, I'm not even going to discredit any other game by saying that. If you're #1 in the world in any game, you're probably pretty gosh darn good, period. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
So, it all kind of came together, didn't it, though? You understood what he's doing, that what you're doing, maybe that he's catching on to, what he's doing you might not be catching on to. Accountability. And you adapted to it, the adaptability, and then you went from him always maybe winning at first to you pulling even, eventually pulling away. And then he catches up and just goes back and forth. When I spoke to Crone at that event, he said he kind of tries to play like the villain on purpose. My response was, just be careful so they don't think you're like that 24/7. I mean, Scott Steiner is not the screaming, coked up muscle nut job all the time, you know?
Right.
Although I kind of wish he was. I saw him at a wrestling show, and I saw him like talking normally. I was kind of thrown off, but yeah, like, so, which is why I'm always positive. And yeah, I'll get hype up. I will scream top my lungs at these things, not at people obviously, just like in the crowd and stuff, because these games get me excited, and I think it's a positive energy that keeps me moving forward. And from there, if you can apply the accountability, the adaptability, rather, accountability, positive adaptability, you can use these mentalities in the FGC, in the real world, in other competitive endeavors, whether it be a basketball player or a competitive poker player and stuff like that. And eventually, nothing will tilt you anymore, because you've experienced all these pitfalls and all these tribulations that others have not. And when that happens, you are now the expert, and people come to you for advice. That will, in turn, improve your self-esteem. You'll have the positive attention to confirm that you are doing well, because others come to you for help now. And I wish that upon everybody in the FGC when they make that realization, just how talented they are and what they've endured that others can't hope to dream of. Whether it be taking these foreign players to the limit, or beating these foreign players, or beating these, or defeating, or going toe-to-toe with these guys who have won these major events, whether it be locally, or regionally, or nationally, or internationally. You can use those to improve the quality of your life. And I hope that now we're kind of closing up. It's about 8 o'clock, and I kind of billed you for 60 minutes. So thank you, Alucard.
No problem.
I hope that everyone here can just use the 3 points: accountability, positivity, adaptability, to help not only promote their growth in the games they play competitively, but also promote their growth in their the other endeavors in their lives, so that if a defeat comes your way, it's not really a defeat, it's just learning experience. And now that you've learned from it, it's not going to bother you anymore, because it's been dealt with.
And I'd like to add, I'm really impressed with the key principles that you touch on. Even though we haven't, spoke on them in the past, it's all real, because the principles that you have pretty much made me the player that I am. And we're different journeys, different paths. We are, but even still, our principles are still the same. We still can relate and just being how principles being us, how how to take accountability for our how to adapt to situation. It's pretty amazing that they both that we we're both total different situations, but they to our. I appreciate that. Very you had me on the show.
All right. Well, like I said, I appreciate you as well, Alucard. You've always been very cordial to me. I do appreciate that. And like I said, we do come from different backgrounds. But I think, like I said, struggles take different forms. But like any struggle, there's a solution. Once you've endured it and you survive the trials, you can take steps to be better prepared in everything in life, and use even the trials that are on paper unrelated to give you strength to take the ones that are in other endeavors, because again, we've been through so many crises that they're routine at this point, and when they become routine and you have the answers in ways others don't because they're not prepared for it, that is when you truly become elite at what you do, whether it be as a player, as a professional, or as a human being. And you become that pillar just like you are right now with the coaching you do. And I imagine that coaching for Street Fighter has a lot with the mentality piece we've been talking about the past hour.
Definitely.
All right, so that's an hour, and we'll wrap things up there. If I'll hit you up once I have the next one ready, because I do like talking to you, and if I have something for you can talk about in the future, we'll make it happen. But I'd like to get some other people on, not just FGC players, but also maybe some of my professionals. I do have some contacts I have in like sports and entertainment, things like that I could add to as well. But in the meantime, that is our show. Thank you for joining us, Alucard. If it's all right with you, I'm going to close things up with some words from our sponsors. Everyone, I would like to proudly announce the next Marvelous Meetings tournament. It's going to be January 12th on Steam. We have the Discord link right there for Crossed Wires. Be sure to check that out. Also, we're going to have the Ball to You Fall for NBA Playgrounds 2K. The European qualifiers are soon, and we're going to see just how well that overseas play works. So we have the Discord link in there as well if you're a Playgrounds fan. It's on sale, by the way, so be sure to check that out. It's on PS4 for now for the tournaments, but there might be crossplay in the future from what the devs tell me. And, of course, we have Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Be sure to check out the complete dossier. Sample combos, strengths and weaknesses, team placement, cumulative rundowns. We also have bi-weekly Street Fighter Cross Tekken tournaments for PC in the Discord link pictured above. The bit link is for the guide. In the meantime, Alucard, thank you very much for joining us. I will see you next time. I'll see you all next time here on Crosswires. Thank you all for Cross the Line. Have a wonderful evening.